We've talked before about qualitative experience, the redness of red, how two people can observe the same phenomenon but feel entirely different, where the private felt quality of seeing it depends entirely on someone's subjective experience. We've talked about how our qualitative experiences shape our reality, and how no amount of third person data, neurons, pathways, chemical signals can fully explain our first person experience. Today, we go deeper because there's a thought experiment that makes this problem impossible to dismiss. And then we're going to follow it somewhere most philosophers don't, straight back to light. Welcome, conscious colleagues, to the Philosophy of Power, a movement dedicated into understanding the secrets of reality and the power of consciousness. Today, we will be continuing our 5-part series on our speculative theory of consciousness and light. Today, we will discuss the power of personal resonance and how our subjective experience and light informs who we become. We will also be discussing the various explanations of consciousness, from physicalism, dualism, panpsychism, and non-dualism. Imagine a scientist named Mary. She spends her entire life in a black and white room. Everything around her, the walls, her books, her screens, is in grayscale. She has never seen color. But Mary is the world's foremost expert on the neuroscience of color vision. She knows everything there is to know about the human eye when it detects wavelengths of light. She knows exactly which neurons fire when someone sees red. She knows the precise electromechanical processes that occur in the brain when a person looks at a ripe tomato. She has read every study, every paper, every textbook. She knows all the physical facts about color. Then, one day, Mary walks out of the room, and for the first time in her life, she sees the color red. The question philosopher Frank Jackson posed in this: does Mary learn something new? If physicalism is correct, if all the facts about consciousness are physical facts, then Mary already knew everything. There should be nothing new to learn. But that seems obviously wrong. Of course she learns something. She learns what red feels like, that irreducible private quality that no textbook could ever transmit. All the physical knowledge in the world didn't prepare her for the experience of it. But there's something else Mary's room reveals that doesn't get talked about enough. It's not just that Mary learns what red looks like. It's that red does something to her. It lands, it resonates. There is a quality to the experience that isn't just information being received. It's consciousness meeting something in the world and responding to it from the inside. That's not just qualia, that's personal resonance. And to understand it, we need to go back to light. In the last episode, we established that light exhibits wave-particle duality. Before observation, a photon exists as a wave, spread across all possible states simultaneously. The moment it interacts with something, it collapses into a single definite state. One path, one reality. Now consider what happens when Mary sees red for the first time. Photons carrying a specific wavelength of electromagnetic energy traveling to enter her eye and trigger a cascade of neural activity. But somewhere in that process, somewhere between the photon hitting her retina and the moment she experiences redness, something happens that no equation has ever captured. The wave collapses, not just physically, experientially. What if those two collapses, the quantum collapse of the photon and the experiential collapse into qualia, aren't just analogous? What if they're the same process operating at different scales? Light is the universe collapsing possibility into reality. Consciousness might be the same process turned inward. Think about it. Think about what light actually does when it reaches you. It doesn't just deliver information passively. It interacts. It changes what it touches. A photon absorbed by your skin becomes heat. A photon absorbed by your retina becomes a signal, then an experience. Light doesn't just reveal the world, it participates in creating your experience of it. And here's what makes this deeply strange. The photon that triggers your experience has been traveling since it left its source, from the surface of an object, bouncing off at exactly the right wavelength, traveling through space, entering your eye at exactly the right moment. That specific photon, that specific collapse, that specific experience, no one in that room feels exactly what you feel. They may all be seeing the same thing, not because the physics is different. The photons are the same, but because the collapse happens inside you, in your particular consciousness, shaped by your particular history, your particular way of being in the world. The light is universal. The experience of it is irreducibly yours. Now, let's take this further. Personal resonance. That felt sense of alignment when something is authentically yours isn't random, it isn't arbitrary, it follows a pattern. Certain things land, others don't, and that pattern is consistent across your life in a way that suggests it isn't just preference. It's something structural about who you are. What if that structure is frequency? Light travels as a wave. Every wave has a frequency, and when two waves share the same frequency, something remarkable happens. They amplify each other. This is called resonance in physics. It's not a metaphor. When frequencies align, they don't just coexist, they reinforce. They create something larger than either alone. Now consider, if consciousness is connected to light, if the collapse of experience follows the same logic as the collapse of a photon, then personal resonance might be literal. When something resonates with you deeply, it may be because its frequency genuinely matches yours. Your consciousness and the thing in the world are oscillating at the same rate, synchronizing. This would explain things that no purely physical account can. Why the same piece of music devastates one person and leaves another moved. When certain ideas feel like they were waiting for you. Why some people feel like home the moment you meet them, and others feel like static no matter how long you try. It's not chemistry. It's not personality. It's frequency, alignment. Two waves finding each other across the field. And light, massless, fundamental, the universe's primary carrier of information, might be the medium through which that alignment happens. When something resonates with you, light might literally be the mechanism, the carrier of your experience, collapsing into recognition. We're at the edge of what current science can confirm, but it's not arbitrary speculation. It follows directly from what we know about photons, about wave collapse, about the nature of electromagnetic fields, and how the hard problem of consciousness that no purely mechanical theory has solved. The fact that light has always sat at the center of human meaning, light as God, light as truth, light as the source of life across every tradition, might not be poetry. It might be intuition pointing at something real. Now here's where this gets personal. Because if personal resonance is real, if who you are is a frequency, not a formula, then we have to reckon with something uncomfortable. Genetics matter. Social environments matter. The family you were born into, the culture you were raised in, the friends you grew up with, all of it shapes you. It creates predispositions. It opens certain doors and closes others. Nobody serious is denying that. But predisposition is not determination, and this is where the evidence becomes impossible to ignore. Take a family of athletes, 2 generations of professional sports people, genetic gifts from physical performance, a household built around competition and training, and yet somewhere in that family, one child gravitates towards painting, another towards mathematics, another towards music. The genes are there, the environment is there, the expectation is there, and still something in that child pulls in a different direction, something that doesn't care about predisposition. Or take a group of friends who grew up together. Same neighborhood, same school, same social world. 4 of them love football. They live for match days, follow their team everywhere, build their weekends around the game. And then there's a 5th one who sits in the same room and feels nothing, who secretly spends his evenings reading philosophy, following threads of thought that none of his friends would understand or care about. Same environment, completely different inner pull. Neither the athlete's child nor the philosopher in the football group choose their resonance rationally. They didn't sit down and evaluate options. They felt it before they had a language for it, before they could justify it, before anyone can validate it. They already knew what was theirs. We talked in a previous episode about Michael Faraday, born into a working-class family in London. His father, a blacksmith, his formal education almost non-existent, raised in a deeply religious household with no scientific tradition whatsoever. By every measure of predisposition, the path to becoming one of the great experimental scientists in human history was closed to him. Genetics didn't open that door. Environment didn't open it. His social world actively pointed elsewhere. But something in Faraday resonated with the natural world, with electricity, with the invisible forces that hold reality together. And that resonance was stronger than everything stacked against it. He pursued it with his whole life, and what he discovered became the foundation of electromagnetic theory, the very science that connects, as we've been exploring to the nature of light itself. Or consider Vincent van Gogh. His family expected a respectable life. He worked in art dealing, then tried theology, following paths others mapped for him. None of it held. The resonance wasn't there. It was only when he surrendered completely to painting, against his family's wishes, against financial reality, against every rational argument, that something to him came alive. The work he produced in the last decade of his life has become one of the staples of art that has inspired future artists in the last couple of decades. He didn't choose painting because it made sense. He chose it because nothing else resonated, because without it, he wasn't himself. And now consider the opposite. What happens when resonance is ignored, forced, overridden by someone else's frequency? College students show a consistent pattern. Those who chose their major based on parental pressure rather than genuine interest report significantly higher rates of dissatisfaction, burnout, and disengagement. Even when they succeed by external measures, the grades might be there, the career might materialize, but the inner sense of alignment, that feeling that this is mine, this is real, this resonates, is absent. And its absence hollows everything out. You can force someone into a path, you cannot force their resonance to follow. You cannot tune someone else's frequency. Their light is their own. This is what no purely genetic or social account of consciousness can explain. The frequency doesn't come from your DNA. It doesn't come from your upbringing. It doesn't come from your predispositions. It comes from somewhere more fundamental, from the particular pattern of your consciousness meeting the world and finding what aligns. Faraday's light was electricity and magnetism. Van Gogh's light was color and form. The philosopher in the football group, his light was ideas. None of them chose it, all of them recognized it. That recognition, that felt sense of yes, this is it, this is mine, is personal resonance, and it cannot be assigned, inherited, or imposed. It can only be discovered. With that in mind, let's look at how the major philosophical frameworks handle consciousness and where each one falls short. First, we have physicalism. In this case, this philosophical explanation reduces consciousness to brain function. Neurons fire, experience happens, end of story. We've covered this at length before. Qualia, the redness of red, the ache of beauty, the felt quality of any experience. Physicalism can explain the mechanical function of absorbing information, the signal, the pathway, the neural response. What it cannot explain is the qualitative subjective lens that actually feels that information, and personal resonance makes this failure even more visible. Two people observe the exact same phenomenon and walk away with completely different inner experiences of it. Same stimulus, same biology, different worlds. That diversity of experience isn't a glitch, it's the whole point, and physicalism has no account for it. Then there's dualism. Dualism takes this subjective experience seriously in a way physicalism refuses to, and that's its strength. But here's where it falls short for us. It creates too clean a separation between the experiencer and the experience, and that separation doesn't hold. Our experiences are deeply rooted in the material world. Grief lives in the chest. Joy opens the body. Resonance is felt before it's understood. But these physical sensations aren't just biological events happening to a soul observing from a distance. The experiencer and the experience are not two separate things in a relationship. They are one event. Dualism sees the connection but draws the wrong boundary. Non-dualism. Non-dualism found in Advaita Vedanta, Buddhism, Taoism, dissolves the separation entirely. Consciousness is the ground of all existence. Matter and mind are one, undivided reality appearing in different forms. This sidesteps the hard problem but offers little about mechanism. It tells you that separation is illusion without explaining how the illusion works. Finally, we have panpsychism. It is the most promising of all. It holds that consciousness is a fundamental feature of reality, woven into the fabric of the universe at every level, not produced by complex matter, but present in simpler forms throughout. This means personal resonance isn't a psychological quirk, it's a real alignment between your consciousness and the consciousness already present in the world. Two frequencies finding each other. And if light is the medium of that field, then panpsychism and the light theory of consciousness starts pointing at the same thing. However, the unresolved question is the combination problem. How do micro-level forms of experience combine into the unified richness of human consciousness? That's still open, but all the frameworks, panpsychism is one that leaves the room for what light seems to be telling us. This isn't just abstract philosophy. Getting the nature of consciousness wrong has real consequences. Physicalism, taken to its reductive extreme, strips conscious beings of agency. If identity is entirely determined by genetics, hormones, and brain structure, then biology becomes destiny. And if biology is destiny, some biologies can be declared superior to others. This is bioessentialism, and its history is not theoretical. Women reduced to their reproductive biology, trans and LGBTQ plus people told that their chromosomes override their lived experience, felt identity, and personal resonance. These weren't fringe positions. They were codified into policy and used to strip entire groups of their rights. The most extreme manifestation of materialism was eugenics. Consciousness reduced to biology, biology to worth, worth to hierarchy, applied to indigenous peoples, black people, disabled people, poor people, always dressed in scientific language, always built on physicalist assumptions. The logic always repeats. Reduce humans to biology, claim biology determines worth, declare some biologies superior, eliminate the inferior ones. But if consciousness is a frequency, if personal resonance is real, if who you are is the pattern that emerges when your consciousness meets the world and finds its alignment, then no chromosome, no brain scan, no external measurement can define who you are. Your authentic self is not determined by your biology, it is expressed through it. This is not just a philosophical claim, it is a moral one. Mary walked out of her room and saw red for the first time. She didn't receive information. Something in her responded. Something recognized it. That recognition, that felt sense of this is real, this is mine, this resonates, is not explained by any of the frameworks alone. But light gives us a structure to think about it differently. Not consciousness as a product of the brain, not soul floating free of the body, but consciousness as a field, light as its medium, and personal resonance as the moment the wave collapses into you. Specific, irreducible, yours. Thank you, conscious colleagues, for lending me your ear. In the next episode, we go deeper into what actually means for who you are, how the heart and the brain might be working together in ways science is only beginning to explore. You are a frequency, and you've been resonating your whole life. Next, we find out what that means.